Hey, what's up? This is Sam from Bet. In this video I'll be doing my full card predictions, breakdown, bets and picks for UFC Fight Night 190, Gane versus Volkov. I'll divide these videos as follows. First I'll be talking about all the picks and the bets, then on to the breakdowns, and if you wish to support the channel, stick until the end, I'll show you how. The only caveat here, guys, is that this is my picks, the bets that I'm taking. If you wish to follow anything that I'm saying here, take it to your full responsibility. There is a disclaimer in the description if you'd like to take a look. Before starting, just showing you guys the Instagram. If you'd like to follow me, I put up there for some bets that I take, so you can see that from an early basis. You know, you wouldn't need to wait until the video comes up on YouTube. This video is also available first on Patreon. So for those that are supporting me, I appreciate a lot, guys. Thank you very much. That's because of you guys we keep this channel running. All right. So on to all picks and the bets. This is not in order, okay? Then I'll try to cover the full card in a concise manner. It's also maybe not in order, so apologize if the lineup is not correct, okay? So team means between team means and NicolasDalby. I'm picking betting Dalby. 1% of my money. Danilo Marques versus Kennedy Nzecukwu. I'm picking and betting Nzecukwu. 1.5% of my money. Ramazan Emeev versus Warlley Alves. I'm picking Emeev, but not betting the fight. As of now, I may bet Emeev. I'm still thinking about it. Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Michel Prazeres. I'm picking Rakhmonov, but not betting the fight. Marcin Prachnio versus Ike Villanueva. I'm picking betting Villanueva. And Fili versus Daniel Pineda. I'm picking Fili, but not betting the fight. Rosa versus Jaynes. I'm picking Rosa, but not betting the fight. Raoni Barcelos versus Timur Valiev. I'm picking and betting. I'm picking and betting Valiev, right? So Mudaerji versus Tim Elliott. I'm picking Mudaerji, but not betting the fight. OSP versus Max Grishin has been cancelled. So I'll remove this one from here. Gane versus Alexander Volkov in the main event. I'm picking Gane and betting him. 0.5% of my money, very tiny bet. Renato Moicano versus Herbert. I'm picking Moicano but betting Herbert. 1.75% of my money. Damir Hadzovic versus Yancy Medeiros. Picking and betting Medeiros, 1% of my money. Avila versus Yulia Storyolenko. Picking Avila but betting Storyolenko. 0.5% of my money. Alright. So on to the breakdown, guys. I'll try to make this as concise as possible, but giving you guys nice details. So let me take here, because some fights have been cancelled from the time that I analyzed this one. So let's start off with Ramazan Emeev versus Warlley Alves. And also, if you're a returning subscriber, I haven't put some of the pictures of the guys here for the sake of the time. Alright, so between Ramazan Emeev versus Warlley Alves, it's an interesting fight. Actually, I'm very happy with this matchup, because Emeev is a guy that everybody knows how technical he is, but that he barely never brings, you know, it's never aggressive enough. He's fighting a very aggressive guy in Alves that comes hard, comes fast and throws heat, you know, so we're gonna see Emeev technique tested here. Alves will come forward. He's a good striker. He throws heat, like I said. He's also pretty good from top, you know, from while he lasts, you know, because this guy comes very hard in the first round, but then slows down. So what's happened? Well, most likely what's gonna happen here, guys, Alves gonna come for the finish, as he always does. He could finish Emeev. It's not impossible, even though Emeev is a super tough guy, not easy to finish. Very durable. So I expect that Emeev survives the onslaught and come on top. Most likely we're gonna see Emeev maybe getting hit and hurt in the first. From the second, I expect him to start out grappling Alves, basically. You know, Alves is gonna start slowing down. Emeev gonna take the front foot, tag him a little bit and shoot and hold him down, basically. That's what I'm expecting. I said that I may bet Emeev. The reason is I have him as a favorite. You know, the lines are showing exactly the same calculation that I have. To me, it would make sense bet Emeev, because I don't like much Alves due to his consistency. This guy has so much potential, but you know, always fights basically the same, and didn't quite fix much his problems. He improved throughout the years, of course, but not as much as I would like to see. So the pick is Emeev by decision. I would like very much a bet on Emeev by decision. This I'll definitely take when the prop bets open. I can also take the overs. It's not impossible that Alves wins a decision, like does lots of damage on the first, and then in a slow-paced fights from the second, he can win the second round, lose the third, in a split decision or something. It's not impossible that Alves wins a decision, but most likely this is Emeev by decision. Alright, feel free to pause here, and these are the calculations of my odds. Feel free to pause here as well. On to the next fight, Marcin Prachnio versus Ike Villanueva. This is an interesting one in my opinion. Prachnio got a quite quite a good win over Khalil Roundtree, his last fight, his first win in the UFC. Probably that's why people are high on him, or maybe because of Ike's age. But to me, this is Ike's fight, guys. Prachnio, it's not impossible that he wins here because he does a quite good job when he keeps the range, using that. He has like more a karate base, you know. He throws lots of strikes with angles, like long hooks, long kicks, you know. So if Ike slips on that, Ike could lose a decision. Prachnio is also a guy that doesn't back down from a brawl. He's younger, you know. He has some power, so he could also put Ike out. But to me, we're gonna see Ike Villanueva with his experience of the boxing. He has very good straight punches. He's not the biggest guy, not the youngest guy, but still, he's got the experience. I think he's gonna avoid most of the big shots that Prachnio could throw. We're gonna see him pushing the pace and ultimately doing more damage on Prachnio. We have seen Prachnio getting TKO'd before as well, so he doesn't have the best chin in the world. So to me, like I said, this is Ike's fight, despite the lack of size for the light heavyweight division. By my calculations, he would be a minus 130 favorite. We can catch him at plus 180, so to me it's a big bet. Not a big bet, but a very good bet on Ike. And I'm going Ike by TKO in this one. I think he starts landing those straight punches. He can finish Prachnio probably in the second round or something. Also, Prachnio can slow down, you know, a little bit. So yeah, these are my comments for the fights. Feel free to pause here, and these are my calculations. I think this is worth your time. On to the next fight, Fili versus Daniel Pineda. Another good one. You know, Fili is a very well-rounded guy. This guy has improved throughout the year. He's a big guy for the division, very long, 74 inches tall, like 5'11". Does a pretty good job with the range. You know, he throws lots of jabs. He likes to use some kicks to the legs and straight punches. He's also has good nature of power. He doesn't back down from a brawl because he has a good chin as well. So this guy is pretty complete. He's also not a bad wrestler, not a bad grappler, even though it's not his specialty, neither wrestling or grappling. He's more like a striker that evolved the rest of the parts of the game in MMA. He's a good training camp in Alpha Male. So he's a pretty complete guy, you know, tough guy, still quite young. He's probably 30 or 31. Pineda is more like a veteran of the game. This guy has over 50 fights, but he basically, you know, starts very fast in the first round. It's very interesting. He's never had a win by decision, Pineda. So he likes to get inside of guys, throw bombs, you know, then he can shoot. He's a pretty good grappler from the top. He also has dangerous quick kicks, especially in the first round. From the second, he tends to slow down a little bit. So what we're probably gonna see here, guys, is Pineda trying again to put his opponent, in this case Fili, out in the first. I don't think he's gonna be able, because like I said, Fili is a tough guy. He has a good chin and his experience. He has good training partners. I think he survives the first. You know, he may come on top right after that from the second round. He could even finish Pineda in the first round. It's not impossible because, like I said, Fili has power and he's a better striker of the two. So Fili could finish him basically at any time. I'm going Fili by TKO. I'm taking round 3 because, like I said, Pineda slows down from the second. I think Fili gonna pick the shots and basically finish him on the third. But we'll see what happens here. These are my comments to you guys. These are my calculations. So it's pretty close to what the bookies have. It's not a bad idea to throw Fili in some parlays at least, you know. But I ended up passing on this one. I don't want to take too much the risk because Pineda, like I said, he can, you know, jump into Fili, go super hard on the first round. He's also the better grappler of the two, so it's a little bit risky, but it's not a bad idea to throw Fili on parlays. All right. So these are my calculations for future pause here. On to the next fight. So Mudaerji versus Tim Elliott. Striker versus grappler. Basically, Mudaerji is a super tall and long flyweight. He's probably like 5'8", 5'9", which doesn't sound that tall, but this guy's super long, so he fights tall, he fights long. And excellent striker, sharp 1-2s, sharp kicks, you know, super fast, athletic, strong, you know, very young guy, 23 or something, 24. And Tim Elliott's a veteran of the game. Like, this guy is very tough. He pushes the pace. He wouldn't mind. He wouldn't respect too much Mudaerji, that's for sure. He's gonna try to get inside. He will even try to outbox Mudaerji. Let's see if he can. I don't think he will because of the range, basically. But Elliott has evolved through the game, throughout the years with his striking. He used to be basically a blue chip wrestler, grappler that keeps pushing the pace. He's evolved with his striking. He's now moving the head better. Not that easy to hit. So he's a pretty decent striker in the flyweight division, which is pretty impressive because this division is really stacked. So, but still, Mudaerji has the range, has the speed, the power. So we'll see Elliott shooting. We'll see if Mudaerji can handle that. Mudaerji had problems before with wrestlers that put on the pressure on him. It's gonna be tough for Mudaerji to finish Elliott by submission. Elliott has improved a lot his submission defense throughout the years, but Mudaerji could TKO Elliott, you know. So basically, like I said, striker versus grappler. I'm going Mudaerji by decision. Tim is a very tough guy. Mudaerji can also not throw reckless abandon because he's gonna get taken down and controlled, so he will be aware of that, not to get taken down. I think he'll basically keep touching Tim, edge him on a decision. He can also hurt Tim a little bit, but I don't think he finishes him. Alright? So yeah, these are my calculations. I have Mudaerji like -140. The line shows up him a little bit heavier favorite, that's why I'm not betting this one. And Elliott, you know, there's a question to be answered here. Mudaerji had problems before with from his back. I think he will show up. He won't be taken down that much. He'll be able to stand back up. So it's also not a bad idea to throw Mudaerji on some parlays, but I'm gonna be passing on this one. And I'll probably take a look on the decision prop bets, you know, for either of these guys. And fight goes the decision prop maybe. Right, so these are my calculations. Feel free to pause here. On to the next fight, Raoni Barcelos versus Timur Valiev. Excellent fight. It's a high-level one. Both of these guys are, you know, great fighters overall. You know, you see by the ratings, they are nearly 4 stars everywhere. They have very little mistakes. Barcelos, guy that fights more like on the front foot, getting inside, throwing lots of combinations, super dangerous when he starts going, those sharp punches, knees up the middle. He also has very good grappling, you know, he shoots, he goes to grapple, has excellent top control, back taking, you know, this guy is also tough, even though he's not the biggest guy in the division, but Barcelos is really an excellent fighter. And I can say the same things about Valiev. They have a little bit different styles, but they're both excellent. Valiev is more like a guy that likes to blitz and throw power kicks from the outside, and he gets some blitzes in, then he keeps pumping the jabs. So he fights more like with range, but he can also stand his ground and trade. So both of these guys, they have this style to beat each other. It will depend probably a lot on who can land heavier first, you know, but I expect that neither of these guys also going to be faced by that. I think they'll keep coming. They are both super tough. I'm picking Valiev, guys. The reason is, if you see by the rating, I have basically the same as, like I said, different styles. You could argue that Barcelos has better wins in his career. I would agree with that, but I would argue that Valiev is a little bit better in terms of the training camp that he's having, you know, so I think he has better training partners, and he's a little bit bigger and stronger and more powerful than Barcelos. Alright, so to me it's like apple and oranges. I know Barcelos has proven himself more. Valiev has a little bit more potential, but at this level it's basically pretty much the same, at least on my eyes, so I'm going this like 50-50. That's why to me it makes sense to bet on Valiev. I have him at plus 180, so I'm taking that bet. But like I said, to me it's a pick and could go Barcelos' way if he starts landing early, especially, you know. But I think we'll see Valiev making it competitive on the feet, doing a little bit more damage. Valiev is also, I forgot to comment about the wrestling. This guy is a high-level sambo wrestler. So it won't be easy to take him down. But if Barcelos flattens him out, it's a problem for Valiev. Whereas Barcelos get taken down, he has a little bit more chance to create a scramble and get back up than Valiev has. But still, I think we're gonna see Valiev using his offensive wrestling smart and edging Barcelos on a decision. All right, these are my calculations. Free to pause here. Yancy Medeiros versus Damir Hadzovic. This moved from a previous card. To me, it's very interesting that now Hadzovic is the favorite. I don't see much, maybe because of the training partners. He's training with NicolasDalby. I don't know, man. From the footage, I'm analyzing what I have seen. Hadzovic is a good fighter overall, you know. Can do a little bit of everything. Not bad striking, not bad grappling. Can wrestle a little bit. Pretty tough guy. Not small guy for the division. He's 6 feet tall, but he's not that long, so that's why he's not like a stellar on any aspect by my eyes. I have Medeiros with being a little bit better with the striking. He's not too technical, but he keeps coming. He's so tough that he keeps throwing those 1-2s up the middle. This guy is very long. He has a good nature of power, you know, like because of the leverage he has. Also on the grappling, Hadzovic is the better grappler. Maybe that's why he's a favorite here. But I don't think he's that great of a wrestler. I think Medeiros is gonna stuff those takedowns or at least get back up. An interesting thing, you guys may comment on this one. To me, Medeiros has more chances of finishing Hadzovic by submission included than the opposite way around. Because Medeiros has such long arms, he's very good with those anaconda chokes, you know, those dars. So there is a possibility that Hadzovic takes him down. He finds like some scramble there, ends up with anaconda or dars. Hadzovic again, not bad grappling, not bad control, but nothing outstanding. He goes for ground and pound, you know, and he likes to take the back, take rear naked chokes. But I don't know. To me, I don't see much chance of this happening against Medeiros, unless he cracks Medeiros on the feet and then does that on the ground. Could be, you know, but still, to me, I have Medeiros as a small favorite. He's like a plus 130 dog, so I'm taking a small bet on him. Throwing him some parlays. I'm taking him by decision. Think he's gonna be able to control the range, stuff some takedowns, do more damage, you know. But Hadzovic, like I said, tough guy, not easy to finish, and I don't think we're gonna see a finish to either guy here. So to me, this also goes to the decision, which makes interesting decision prop bet. Maybe depends on the price. These are my calculation, guys. This is in an old format. I just copied from a previous one, so you guys have this in a more like a betting format. Renato Moicano versus Herbert. Excellent one again. This is I'm very curious to see what's gonna happen in this fight. Moicano is such a heavy favorite on the bookies. I understand why, because he's such a great everywhere basically, you know, great grappler, very good striker. He fences better in my opinion when he's timing guys when they come in, you know, because he uses good angles, even though he carries the chin quite up. He's a good timing with the jab, with the right hand, you know. He also throws powerful hooks, nasty leg kicks, you know, when guys come in. On the front foot, he's more like a 1-2 fighter, you know, with a leg kick, which is not bad because he has the range. At least he had quite a lot of range in the featherweight division. Also, he's pretty long, so even in the lightweight division, he has advantage with that over many guys. And like I said, he's a great grappler, but not much of a great wrestler. He uses takedowns based on body locks, you know, trying to basically use trips, you know, BJJ techniques to bring to the ground. He's fighting out Herbert, which is a very tall guy. So Moicano is 5'11", if I'm not mistaken, or 5'10", and he's pretty long, like 73, 74. Herbert is 6'1" and 77 inches, if I'm not mistaken, 76. You guys correct me here. He uses that pretty well. This guy has laser sharp 1-2s, you know, great footwork, super tough to hit. This guy can also shoot, you know, even though he's not gonna do this in this matchup. He has a not pretty good wrestling game, but he times very well his entries. He also grapples pretty well from top, good ground and pound, back taking, etc. Again, we're not gonna see this from him in this matchup. He's not gonna risk to grapple with Moicano. The main question here, can Herbert stuff those takedowns? I think he can, because he uses lots of angles. You know, I think we're gonna see Herbert being able to keep the range. But by my calculations, I have Moicano as a small favorite, like minus 140. Let's say that everything that I'm saying is not right. You know, that Moicano gonna be able to take Herbert down. Then probably gonna be a quick finish for Moicano on the ground. Probably rear naked choke, something like this, but could be the ground and pound. Also, Herbert could be finished by Moicano, so that's why I think Moicano has a small edge. But in terms of a bet, to me, it's definitely a dog or pass here. Like I said, Herbert, I think people are underestimating him because he lost by TKO against Massaranduba, but we'll see, guys. To me, he's like at least 45% chances on this matchup. I'm betting him at plus 210 as a dog, and I'm also probably gonna be betting him by decisions or even TKO if I can get him at plus 400 like I'm putting here. So to me, an interesting bet on Herbert here. Charles Rosa versus Justin Jaynes. This is more like a lower level, let's put it this way. Rosa is not bad anywhere. Actually, when I was thinking that he was worse striking, but then I watched again the videos. That's pretty okay, you know, especially defensively. Times well, guys, not easy to hit. On the front foot, more like side kicks and 1-2s. It doesn't pack that much power, doesn't throw enough, so that's why he's getting 2 stars here. He's not getting 4 stars on the grappling, even though he's excellent, because he doesn't have much wrestling. He does a pretty good job of timing those things, but not much technique. But from his back, he's pretty good. People don't like to take him down because he grapples so well. And he's not the biggest guy for the division, and also has had long layoffs. I don't see him, you know, with them. He cannot adjust himself much because basically he's a grappler. You know, he still is basically a grappler, so I'm giving 3 stars for him in this regard. Jaynes is basically a power puncher. He has a good wrestling, you know, but he's not gonna wrestle Rosa here. So we're gonna see Rosa trying to keep the range against Jaynes, trying to keep jumping sides, trying to throw those powerful hooks. Jaynes used to start fast, then he slows down. That's why probably Rosa is a strong favorite here. I have him winning as well, especially if he takes to the ground. He can easily finish Jaynes on the ground by submission, but I don't think he's gonna be able to easily take Jaynes down. So I'm going Rosa here. I'm going round 3 submission. I think at some point, eventually Jaynes will give up those takedowns. You know, he could, like I said, slow down. He's gonna start fast, but I expect him to slow down. So let's see how this goes. This is more like a tricky one, but Rosa is definitely the favorite here. These are my calculations. I think the odds have quite similar. Also, it's not a bad parlay piece, Rosa, even though it's quite weird because, like I said, I don't know, Rosa, he doesn't has much striking, so it's kind of betting one-sided guy as a strong favorite. You know, it's quite risky in this regard, but in this matchup he fares pretty well. Okay, so these are my calculations. Feel free to pause here. On to the next fight, Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Michel Prazeres. Guys, this Shavkat is super tall, you know, super long. Like on the tape, he was 6'1" and 74, but I saw some photos on Instagram. He dwarfs people like that are 5'10", so I think he's probably 6'2" or 6'3". He's a pretty good striker. Not pretty good, he's a good striker. He does make still some mistakes, but like I said, super tall, super long. Gonna be tough for Prazeres, which is probably the shortest welterweight here in the UFC. I may be wrong, you guys correct me here, but he's like 5'6". For a welterweight. It's quite short, but he's a tank of a man. Even being like 30, how much is he? 39, yeah. He's still like very physical, even for the welterweight division. Once he starts shooting, it's very tough to take him out of you, you know. So we're gonna see if Prazeres can take and hold Shavkat down. I don't think he's gonna finish Shavkat because Shavkat doesn't make many mistakes, sorry. But yeah, we'll see if Prazeres can control him. There is this question to be answered. Shavkat, from the footage, he struggles from his back, you know. So if we, again, I'm repeating that for the third time, but if Prazeres takes him down, he's gonna probably be able to hold. That's why, by my calculations, there is a big spread here. Prazeres could make it a very close matchup in this regard, but Shavkat not gonna, you know, just get taken down and try to just wait. You know, he's gonna probably try to get right back up. He's super tall, so has got great leverage in the ground. He could create scrambles, etc. Either way, Shavkat is the favorite here. I'm going him by decision. I think he's gonna control range, but be wary about the takedown. Prazeres is also even being quite short. He's a pretty tough guy, you know. and you can even argue that he's a big guy for the division, you know, even moving up. But these are my calculations, guys. A bet on Prazeres by decision may not be bad, because like I said, I don't expect him to finish Shavkat neither by submission, even though there's some chance. But I think Prazeres by decision may not be a bad idea. I have him like 20% chances for that. So at plus 400 range, I'll be taking that bet, you know, just to see if the question whether Shavkat can stuff those takedowns or not will be answered. Thunder Boser versus OSP. This one I haven't put on the spreadsheet, so I'll add later on. So this is like a tricky one to call. You know, we saw Boser against Latifi. Boser can get taken and hold down, which OSP could very much do, you know, because OSP, this guy has so much potential, you know, but he never realized it. I don't think he's going to realize in this fight as well. To me, we're going to see basically a striking battle between the two. I'm very curious to see. We're going to see OSP shooting, that's for sure, but we'll see how often. I think not often enough. So Boser, to me, going to be able to tag him a little bit more. He throws more volume, even though it's a little bit more basic. OSP is the longer guy here. So he has more power, he's faster, he's more athletic. Actually, maybe not more power, you know, power is pretty even between the two, but he's faster, more athletic. OSP kicks better. So it could be very close. OSP is also tough to hit. And Boser, he's a better counter striker than on the front foot. So in a fight from the outside, it's either way, guys, you know, split decision either way, basically. But the difference could be OSP's wrestling. I'm not rating that too much because OSP doesn't show up. He's also coming back again to the heavyweight division, which is in this back and forth from the heavyweight. I don't know, man. It's also weird, especially being OSP. So I'm going Boser by decision. Sorry, this one I didn't update. So I'm back here, yeah. So the pick is Boser by decision. I think he's gonna be able to outstrike, basically use more volume against OSP. And like we know that OSP is not the most consistent guy. So that's my pick, but again, it's very tricky because OSP could bring the takedowns, could time and hold Boser down. He could even finish Boser by those Von Flue chokes or those arm triangles that he likes. Could also, you know, do ground and pound on Boser, but I think if OSP gonna finish Boser, it's most likely by submission. But still, to me, this goes to the decision most likely. These are my calculations, guys. Feel free to pause here. On to the next fight, Tim Elliott versus NicolasDalby. Good one, in my opinion. You know, we're gonna see a clash of styles where both good strikers. Means, you know, he's like a fan favorite. I think at least I'm his fan and I like him. But this guy pushes the pace. You know, being a Muay Thai fighter in close range, lots of straight shots, liver hooks. He also evolved throughout the years, can shoot a double leg now, do some control from the top, you know, but he likes to put pressure on guys and land, you know, sharp and crisp as 1-2, knees up the middle, you know, and he's a very experienced guy. I can say similar things about the experience, at least on Dalby, but Dalby has a very different style, has like more like wide base, lots of in and out movements, angles, likes to leap with the blitzes, you know, throw sharp and fast hands, then get out and slip the counters, come again. He also can shoot a good double leg. He's not a bad grappler from top, you know. So it's gonna be an interesting one. I think we will see. I'm rating them pretty even here, as you guys can see. I think we're gonna see Dalby fighting a little bit better here. I'm rating Means not as best on this regard of on his physical part, because he's like 37 now, has been in many wars in the UFC. I think if they start trading, Dalby could even do more damage, you know, even Means being the more technical and crisper guy. I think if Dalby starts landing, he can do more damage on Means, you know, like wobble him, then take him down. And Means flat on his back, he still doesn't have the good escapes from there, you know, even though he's quite difficult to take down. He's not easy to hold down after you flat him out. So I think we're gonna see probably a very competitive striking battle. Team Means could win in that regard, obviously, you know, because he's more technical, but I see a little bit more chances that Dalby lands a little bit more on Means and then uses that wrestling to hold Means down, also make it a little bit more physical, this matchup. So to me, Dalby is a small favorite, and he's a plus 130 dog, plus 140, sorry. So it makes sense to bet Dalby by my calculations, you know. And yeah, I think I broke to you guys down already how I see this playing out, and these are basically my comments and the bets that I'm interested in. These are my calculations for future pause here. Danilo Marques versus Kennedy Nzecukwu. Very interesting fight, grappler versus striker again. Danilo, pretty big, tough guy for the division. He's gonna try to get inside, use single leg, body lock to push Nzecukwu to the ground. He's gonna use all his power, his strength, and then he's gonna try to hold Nzecukwu down, take his back, submit him. I think it's not easy to do against the African Savage. This guy is really, I think by the name it's you guys can see if you haven't seen his last fight against forgot the name of the guy that he fought, but his last fight, man, he took some bombs, you know. This guy survived, he kept pushing, you know. We have seen him from previous fights. He's not the most technical guy anywhere. Still, he's getting 4-star on the striking, but because this guy just keep pushing. His big 6'5", massive reach, 8'3", keeps coming. You know, this guy has a decent power, and it's just ridiculous the volume and the pressure that this guy puts. On the defensive part, he gets hit quite a bit. Doesn't have much grappling anywhere, you know. But again, he's athletic too. You know, he's very strong. Athletic, he's gonna keep fighting, so technically he's not the best, but when you come down to his, you know, I actually could put even 3 stars here on this game plan and this part here, but his physical part, you know, it's pretty impressive, you know, because he brings, he has heart, he has will, you know, so he's definitely 5-star here. I put this star for him to defensive grappling, even though he doesn't grapple much. It's tough to hold him down because he creates scrambles using those being such a big and strong guy, and also it's not easy to take him down because he has such great balance, you know. So he deserves it, even though if he gets flattened out, it's gonna be difficult to escape. So it's interesting to see that the bookies have this nearly pick him. I think just because basically that, right? If Marques takes him down and could finish Nzecukwu. But I don't think it's gonna be easy. I see the African Savages as a heavy favorite. I'm leaning more towards 65% favorite as Kennedy, so I like a bet on him because I think he's gonna basically stuff to take down and finish Marques after that, you know. So I'm going Kennedy round 2 TKO. These are my comments and the bets that I would be interested in. These are my calculations, guys. So feel free to pause here. On to the next fight and the main event. Wait a second. Wait, give me a second. Alright, so on to the main event. Gane versus Alexander Volkov. Excellent fight in the heavyweight division, guys. Excellent striker, both of these. Gane doesn't have nearly as much experience as Volkov. That has Volkov's 30 fights minimum. So it's gonna be a very interesting one. A hot prospect as Gane versus a veteran and a good fighter as Volkov. I expect this one to be very competitive. Actually, I'm very curious to see what's gonna happen on the feet here because Gane has been so dominant against all of his opponents. One of the reasons is that he was always taller and longer. He doesn't have that in this matchup, even though the reach is similar. Volkov has a more of a reach advantage, let's put it this way, because he's taller, you know, 2 inches only, but still it's significant, and he doesn't have the broadest shoulder, Volkov, so he has 8 inches and doesn't have the broadest shoulder, so his arms are long. That's why he has a reach advantage here. But still, I'm thinking that Gane gonna be able to fare that pretty well, even though it's quite tricky here, you know, because we haven't seen that from him. But he has so much experience in Muay Thai. We see how calm and composed he can be against Rosenstruik. And the Gane to me is a little bit better in Volkov when he starts using those angles, you know, throwing shots from the outside. But it's gonna be interesting because Volkov is more like a volume guy. He's gonna keep coming with the 1-2. You know, he's pretty heavy-handed, Volkov. You know, interestingly enough, like from a couple of years before, he started adding more weight, which fairly him pretty well. You know, he starts packing more power. He's doing pretty good with the striking now. He was always good, but now he's doing even better because I think he sharpened up his skills and he got weight, you know. So Volkov's really a force in this division. So it could go either way, you know. It's very confusing to me to pick this one and to bet. But to me, Gane is a little bit better because of the Muay Thai experience. Plus, he's the better wrestler. This is the main reason to me, you know. And he knows what he's gonna do. You know, Gane is a very smart fighter, even being relatively inexperienced. I think he's gonna be able to make it competitive on the feet against Volkov. He's gonna probably use lots of footwork, you know, keep touching Volkov, trying to avoid the 1-2s, you know, trying to avoid the reach. Then he's gonna eventually take Volkov down, and he could hold him down. He could do more damage with the ground and pound just to score the rounds. Gane is also the more athletic guy, faster, you know. Volkov is a big guy for the division, and he's no slouch by any means physically as well, but I think Gane also has advantage there. That's why Gane is getting 5-star here, Volkov 4. So that's, to me, it makes sense to have a small bet on Gane, given everything that I'm saying. But again, he's fighting a veteran with a massive experience and a guy that I think he's never faced a guy like so tall, so long, and such a great striker as Volkov. But again, I think Gane is the safest pick here. I'm going by decision. I don't think he finishes Volkov. Volkov has good chin as well, you know. And also, yeah, it may be actually interesting. I think Volkov may have more chances for the TKO than Gane. I don't know. Why I'm saying I'm thinking of that, but when I made the calculation, I didn't. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe back and forth here, guys. Again, it's a tough one to see who's gonna do what, you know, because also we haven't seen Gane's chin tested yet. So maybe that's why I just said what I said, that I think Volkov could have more chance to finish Gane, because we have seen Volkov being tagged, and he can survive. He has a good chin, whereas Gane doesn't get hit quite much. So we don't know about his chin, but he's probably good. He's a big guy for the division as well, right? So these are the numbers here. This one also came into the other format, so feel free to pause here, guys. So guys, this is basically it for this video. If you like, please like, subscribe. Now let me show you guys the Patreon. Alright, so if you'd like to support me on Patreon, basically I have 3 tiers. The first tier is for the early releases. Get the best odds right away. So you guys see these videos up front, can take bets that can make a difference, you know, when odds move. So you guys can take the early bets, and this $10 bucks came back to you guys easily if you bet like $50 or something just by getting the best odds. This $10 come back real quick. For 15, it's the 10 one plus the prop bets that I take. I put this line by line in this spreadsheet. It's not the one that you guys seen, but another. So the prop bets that I took, for example, the props that I had on UFC Fight Night 188, everything that says prop here, line by line, so it will be filtered out for you, you know. And for the $50 tiers is line by line, so it's everything you guys can see here. Now this obviously it's a glimpse from the past. So this for Fight Night 188, everything that I took combined with different events, those that cashed, everything is transparent as you guys are used to. So all the bets that I took, and obviously I have this for the previous months, and then, like, as you guys know, I have everything, you know, covered here. It's whether are gains or losses, I don't hide anything, but this is a winning strategy in the long term, especially just to show you guys from the previous months. The profit in one event was nearly 12 units, whereas for the current months I'm probably breaking even here. This has been a quite tough month for me. With nearly 2 units losses, you know. So like I said, this is a winning strategy in the long term, but yeah, and I have nothing to hide, right? So guys, again, please, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, share it with your friends. I'll talk to you next time. This is Sam from Bet, bringing the best, most consistent and transparent betting strategy for you.